Welcome back, Pumpkin. I'm going to show you something today. Why markets move the way they do. And we're going to do a quick experiment, all right, on you. So you know for a fact that on, let's say, January 1st, 2025, the US Fed will cut rates to negative 5% and print infinite money, right? So you will obviously, if you knew this information, you would buy probably one day before, all right? You would buy one day before. Therefore, you buy one day before, all right? So you'd buy a deck, 31st, 2024. Great, okay. Now, I want you to think about, what if we changed who had the information? It's not just you anymore. There were 10 people in the room who got given this secret information that the Fed was going to cut rates an enormous amount. What would you do? You would probably think, oh crap, Larry over here, he's a degen, and that other guy's maybe he's got more money than me, and another guy might leverage. There's so much competition. And let's say like you want to buy bonds, you want to buy crypto, buy anything. There's limited liquidity to do it. You can't just sweep it all at once. What would you do? Now you're in a tough spot. Now you think, okay, well, maybe I'll split up my orders. Maybe I have to start buying, like 3 months before. Okay, so you go, okay, so in your new strategy now, because there's 10 people, so right, 10 people heard the information. Now you can't just buy one day before. You'd buy maybe 50% one day before and buy 50% about 3 months before, right? So like Sep 30th, 31st, 2024. Okay, interesting, right? So now you've split up your orders. So remember in the first example, this is what happened. In the first example, let's say the market was going down, 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 down. And then one day before, remember, you only had the information. You buy everything up. And then the Fed cuts. Because there's literally no one who's going to stand in front on such a big move. And the market reprices higher. And you just absolutely binked it. Okay? That's the first example. But now what happens? In the second example, now that there's 10 people who have this secret insider info with you, now when the market comes down, right, 3 months before, you buy half. Right? So now the market comes up here. And then it keeps coming down. And it maybe doesn't hit that new lower low. And then a day before, you buy it up. Interesting, right? We get back to the same price. But look, this is now starting to look. So this looks like a manipulated market. You've never seen anything like that before. Doesn't this look like the market now? What it kind of does? Right? Interesting, right? What about, this is the crazy part. What about if, let's delete these. Let's update the experiment even more. So what about if I told you the Fed, right, is going to cut on that day, January 1st, 2025, but there's only going to be a 50% chance, okay? And there'll be a 50% chance that they do it in June now, 6 months before, right? So now you're in a pickle. Now you're like, oh crap, man, I might have to start buying like a year before. So you might actually start having the market just go like this, and then they finally do cut, other people come. So you're just like buying every 3 months of the year, okay? But now it gets more interesting when I tell you, what if we get to June? So this is the timeline. Let's draw a timeline. What if, this is January, right, 2024, and we get to June and they don't cut, okay? What happens there? Because now if they didn't cut in June, they are 100% cutting January 2025, 6 months later. Now it gets interesting because the market's been going down. You bought because you didn't know they'd cut. They didn't cut. Weak hands get out, but remember, you have that secret insider information, and now we have a random process of the market, and literally it just looks like randomness. That's why the market moves chaotic like it does. But this is where it gets tricky. Because the insiders, right, after that announcement happens where the Fed doesn't cut, now you know they are going to cut in the next one. So you literally just buy it up. You literally, right? This is what markets do, right? So this is going down, down, down. Here comes to that June part, right? Everyone sells, and then because you know they're cutting next, right? What do? You literally sit on all these bids. You're like, give me him, give me him, give me him. You know, I don't care. I'll buy it up. I'll buy it up. I'll give. They're gonna cut. They're gonna cut. They're gonna cut, right? And you literally squeeze the hell out of everyone out, and no one knows what's going on. Why is the market doing this? Why? This is why the markets move the way they do, right? So I think it's healthier to assume there are insiders, but what you should know is, let's say everybody was an honest actor. What is theoretically happening? So if you speak to, like, you know, people with suits and people who smiling on TV and people who work at the Fed and like markets and stuff, they're not going to say there's insiders. What they're going to say is, look, they're going to say there are certain economic models that everybody follows with regards to inputs of like ISM, US jobs, and all the data that comes out, right? With inflation plugged in, they basically throw all these variables, right? You know, let's just throw in. They throw like ISM plus oil price change, plus rates change, plus jobs change, plus GDP forecast of like top 5 cities in USA. So they throw all these in a model, and what ends up happening is they spit out a number. So you're right, just equal to GDP earnings. This can be used to forecast earnings for companies as well in the future, right? So they have a model here, and this is what happens, okay? So sometimes data just gets so bad where the market goes, okay, you've gone so bad. If I go back to the past 20 years, whenever you hit this level, right, you have to start turning very soon. So I don't even care if it continues to get worse for the next 3 months. I know in the next 9 to 12 months, it'll get better, right? And that's why we hit, if you look at ISM, which is the manufacturing PMI, it has like these big spikes down, right? You just assume the world doesn't go to zero, and this is basically how everyone's trading. This is why the markets are always forward looking, because it's not linear. Like what we want in crypto, we literally want the market to just go, okay, crypto, go to literally zero, all right? And then I want the Fed to tell me on one day they're going to cut interest rates. I'm just going to go up, right? It doesn't work like that. People are playing with probabilities in mind. And they think, okay, you know, if they don't act now, then there's a 30% chance it'll be in 2 months. And then there might be another 50% chance in 3 months after that. So they start playing different parts of the bond curve, and then they affect all the funding and rates. This is why markets are always forward-looking and chaotic. And remember, I said to you earlier, just assume there are always insiders. Always. And you can make decisions because the market is always right. That's what you're always going to learn. The market is always, and never forget that. Just because it's going up, doesn't matter. People know something. They know they're euphoric, okay? And just because it's going down, I'm just saying, the price is the price. Always assume the markets. And then if you see bad data, if you see bad economic data, right, and you see that the market started going up, I want you to think, somebody knows something, right? It's better to think like that because you're always skeptical. You're always thinking, all right, someone has a model out there with enough money where they think, we've hit such a bad streak right now that historically in the past 100 years, there's like a 95% chance we are going to be up from here in 12 months, you know? They've plugged all this and done all the hard work, right? So these are the people you're competing against when you try to play economic data, you try to day trade, woo, yeah, CPI, GDP, woo. These are the people that are trying to sweep everyone, right? And the beautiful part is, they just care about 12-month returns. That's all they care about, and getting a Christmas bonus, right? And we are trying to ride the long-term trend. So if you just keep holding, right, you are playing that long-term trend, and you don't need to play that little poopy game that they all play. Let them play. Eventually, we get our road to the heavens. Until next time, friends.